Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekly Collective. I hope that you're doing well. It's good to see you. We'll kick it off with a little hello from Apollo. Hey, buddy. And so good to see all of you. As always, this reading helps us navigate this moment in time, plus the next 7 days, and hopefully gives us a sense of like what we need to be focusing on. We'll look at channeled messages here in just a moment, but we'll also do 7-day forecast, a special topic which today is appropriate, I think, seeing beyond the moment. Whether the moment is amazing or frustrating or confusing, this is helping you map beyond that, but also kind of like a little bit of how you got where you're at. And then if we have time and if there's enough interest, the runner-up was pretty good. It was about kind of like unraveling any cords in your life, releasing anchors. So if you want me to cover that, there's a goal. You can help support that goal, and we'll extend by another 10 or 15. Okay, with that being said, let's get into channeled. As I was channeling messages and also just sitting here getting prepared, I also pulled a card. We have the Three of Swords coming through representing healing, and also just this sense of this isn't what I wanted. A lot of times the Three of Swords comes through when we're feeling frustration in what's happening either in our lives, in our environment, or just in general. So I'll talk about that as well as what I already came up with, which the first thing that I saw was running and running and running. And the question that I had when I got up is, are you running from something or towards something? Because it makes a really big difference. I remember when I was staying with my cousin about a year ago when we had all the fires here in California. And he reminded me, he said, before you make the next big move, make sure that you're moving towards something that you want. So chasing a dream rather than running from a fear. So ask yourself, what am I running from or to? And how can I make the movement more sort of grounded and productive? Because the other thing that I saw was like paperwork. Paperwork can indicate a lot of things. It could just be getting all the documentation together before a major decision. It could also just, because I saw like everywhere, paperwork everywhere. So organization is also a big thing to focus on in this moment in time. So if you want to strategically get from point A to point B, figuring out like from a priority list what's important. And just cleaning up, cleaning up the environment around you. The other thing, and this just came through right here, right now, is the vision of a well. And sometimes we just feel like we're really in the depths of things, like contemplation, emotions. And it's sort of like, how do I pull myself back to the surface? And I think that's connecting to this Three of Swords moment, a feeling of intense emotions, and you don't have to do it alone. That's the answer with the Three of Swords. The first thing you can do is Four of Swords, rest. The other thing that you can do is connect with someone that you love to help you gain additional perspective. And all of this can help inform and support like better and more productive movement. Let me give Apollo a little snack, and then we're going to move on to the next portion of this reading, which is a 7-day forecast. While I'm doing that, please feel free to like and subscribe. It helps the channel more than you know. And I'll be right back. Hey, buddy. No need to do that. Good boy. Here. All right. Very important. He was taking on the Three of Swords energy too much. All right, guys, thank you for giving me a moment to get settled. Those that have pets understand, and everyone else, hopefully you're entertained with Apollo at the very least. All right, 7-day forecast. This is going to help us navigate, just like it sounds, the week ahead. Let's go ahead and tune in just in case you haven't already done so. A good rule of thumb before meditation, before working with cards, is to tune in and set some boundaries. So imagine, if you will, that you're in an open field. There's clovers everywhere. The sun is shining. You can smell the sweet clover blossoms, hear the bees in the background. Feel this sense of calm, connection, and safety. And let's call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters as we navigate the energy of the week ahead. Okay. Get everything set up. And let's start off with the energy of today. This Sunday, we have a beautiful Ace of Wands coming through. Sunshine, ideation, passion. A little bit of a leap that needs to happen here too. So with all aces, I like to remind people that they're only as strong as what you do with the idea. So if you're sitting on something, a plan, a vision, a dream, today is a day to take an initial step. With wands, it can also just be a decision to develop it a little bit more. You don't necessarily have to show it. It can be personal work, just kind of in the sandbox. This is a card connected with passion. If you want to meet up with somebody, Ace of Wands, very compatible for that. If you want to share an idea with someone, they have a good chance of kind of latching on and thinking it has merit. If you want to exercise, commencing, beginning, refueling, sparking things. This is like the spark or the light bulb. And beautifully illustrated with the sun kind of as the torch there. The Olympics are happening right now, and so is the Super Bowl. But the Olympics have the torch, and it is kind of interesting that it's like, what are you going to ignite energetically in your life today? And know that this has the capacity to grow and go the distance. You may not see it all today. It's the beginning, though. So this is a day of beginnings. If you choose to allow it to be. It's whatever you want to make of it, but it's very compatible with the energy of beginnings. Okay, let's kick off the work week with Temperance, a very different version of it. I might pull a traditional card here in just a moment. So what we really see her doing is alchemically mixing and matching and deciding, what do I want? Where do I stand? I'm going to pull a card to kind of help us with that. So today, if you're, we're looking at the energy of Monday. On Monday, before sort of fully deciding that you want to do something, you might kind of decide, where do I stand? How do I feel? How do I want to present this? And this helps you from making a spur of the moment decision and keeps you kind of grounded in reality. So here's the two different versions of the card. So here we see someone really focusing on the alchemy. How do I feel about this? And in this card, we see an important component, which is taking the first step and testing the waters first. So a great thing that you can do on Monday is to have a conversation with someone and say, hey, I was wondering, how do you feel about this? Because you're looking at feelings, you're looking at intent, you're looking at emotions. And it's captured a little nicer in this one. But what I like about this is then once you know what you want, it's almost like she's at a cauldron creating something magical. You can really get things moving in the right direction. One of the reasons, by the way, I like to sometimes compare is because you can get a richer view of it. I had someone in the comments complaining about that. I'm like, nah, this is just helping you see the source and see the interpretation. And if you don't like that, so be it. I like to geek out on things because I think it gives a richer context. So with this, on Monday, you don't have to necessarily make great movement. It's more of pulse check, temperature check, looking at the environment around you, making sure that you're not too sort of like focused with the horse blinders, and then maybe testing the waters, literally. If I had to caption Monday, it's a great day to test the waters, okay? And not go to any extremes. So if you're feeling emotionally triggered in any direction, then just take a deep breath, because Tuesday will probably give you a different perspective, and we see something different coming through on Tuesday. All right. Seven of Swords is a card of accountability. This particular illustration gave us a place to focus. So typically the person's in the foreground trying to get away with something. Here we see someone stressed because they may be looking at the fine print. The devil's in the details. And this is a card that's connected to devil energy. 5 of Swords, 7 of Swords, 10 of Swords. They're all devil energy. And this one is about sometimes a clause, a loophole, something that is requiring too much of you. It could be in a banking document, a business document. It could just be someone that's not following through on what they said they were going to do in a text or an email. Scan it for the original message, and if someone's falling short, you can quote back and say, this is what we agreed to. I don't know how we got where we're at, but this is what we agreed to. Let's fix this. Like getting very clear and not giving them leeway. You agreed to do this. What is it going to take? When are you going to do it? Okay? Now, in general, the Seven of Swords has a higher meaning too. So when we're looking at ourselves, the Seven of Swords is spirit coming through and saying, be honest with yourself. Sometimes we tell little white lies to ourselves, like, oh, I'll start eating healthy or working out tomorrow. And it's saying, really? What about today? When are you going to begin? So it's that little voice in our head that we know that we don't trust. The other thing is, don't overextend. You can inadvertently get into the Seven of Swords simply by trying to make people happy. Can you help me with this? Well, I've got this, I'll try. You could just say, I'm so sorry, I'm overwhelmed today. I can help you tomorrow. So just be honest, be clear, have boundaries, and you can avoid the Seven of Swords. But as illustrated on Tuesday, Guides in Spirit is saying, look at the detail. Look at the detail and make sure that you don't get stressed out. Okay? If you need help, ask. That's what lawyers are for. That's what, experts are for. All right, looking at the middle of the week, it is a balancing act, but you'll be fine. I look at the Six of Pentacles as the bare minimum for sustainability. So when you're looking at, can I afford it? Yes. Could you probably do a little bit better? Yes. But will you be all right? Yes. So it's that kind of energy. It's be just a little bit above break even. When it comes to negotiations, push a little bit more. There's only so much because typically there are scales in this card. So, you might be able to get an extra 5, 10, or 15%, but probably not beyond that. But it's definitely worth asking if you're looking at a negotiation, or if you're looking at an interest rate, you might be able to get it a point or something below, but not too much. It's small, but still worth it. In your life, the balancing is the important thing to focus on. All those outstretched hands, people asking for more time, more attention, more affection. It's usually coming through because you've got something great to offer. And the next card in this is growth and recovery, the Seven of Pentacles. So you're on the right path, but one of the key factors in continued growth and happiness is just knowing when to say when. And that would be how I would caption this. Know when enough is enough, and don't be afraid to save a little bit of time, energy, and really just space for yourself. All right, so far manageable. Now we have one of our first reversals for the week, Thursday. We have the Four of Cups in reverse. So Four of Cups represents something either hidden or not obvious there. We can see that cup in the background. In the Rider-Waite-Smith version, it's being held by a hand, so it's like a hidden ace. So a blessing in disguise. Something may not work out. It may create that Three of Swords that I pulled when I was just tuning into everybody that's watching now. So sometimes we have to get one small block or rejection. And it's like the game of, I forget what it's, pinball, or whatever. Back when there was arcades and you would have these two levers on the side, and you would pull this pinball, it would go through the machine, and then you would have to kind of push it around. So a rejection is like one of those levers on the side. And if you have never seen the game, Google it. But it's kind of like think also of like just table tennis. You're using the paddle to push something in the right direction. So sometimes when we aren't getting what we want, it's because the universe is kind of like levering or paddling us in that direction, saying, no, over there, keep trying. Look around when you have that extra time or when something doesn't work out and say, what else? What else could I be focusing on? What doors are open right now? That's how you can successfully navigate Four of Cups, okay? I'm glad some people remember pinball. Arcades don't exist anymore, but I'm sure it's out there in the zeitgeist somewhere. People remember it. Four of Cups in reverse also is saying don't compare yourself to someone else. If someone else is making great strides in their life, this can represent frustration, a little bit of jealousy. This person's like, why is it always them? When is it my turn? And it'll be your turn when everything is aligned. You don't know what that person's gone through karmically or in this lifetime, and you don't know what that situation is going to end up being like for them, so don't compare. Just focus and look around. There is something that you can latch onto right now, and it might be better than what you wanted, even if it isn't what you want. When you're having conversations with people, Four of Cups represents someone who is emotionally distracted. They want to listen, but there's a part of them that's thinking also, this isn't what I wanted. So you might want to wait a day or so because the end of the week looks pretty good. As we move to the energy of Friday, we have the High Priest, which is Hierophant energy. I had to translate it in my head. Because we have, Emperor, Empress. So yes, this would be Hierophant energy. So this guy is very comfortable in what's going on. I do want to pull the traditional Hierophant for just a moment because what you can focus on is structure, organization, leadership, and if you need people to follow you. We see the 2 disciples in this. This is also a good day for like group energy. So he's focusing more on feeling that sense of empowerment, but he can also apply it to getting other people organized around him. The fact that we're outside, we don't have the disciples, this is also super entrepreneurial. Modern interpretations of the Hierophant tend to take it away from the church, which you saw there, like, and the Pope, because it's too religious. Sometimes you just see a young person, sometimes you see a key, sometimes you just see a person out in nature. It's basically saying that the power is no longer in a gatekeeper. So this card is a gatekeeper, right? This card lacks that, which is good. So if you don't like someone saying no, find someone that, you might be talking to the wrong person. I remember working for one of my last bosses, and she said, if you are talking to someone that tells you no, but they're not the decision maker, you're talking to the wrong person, just go above them. Easy to say when you have like a high title. But she always said, get to the person who can actually get to the purse strings or sign on the dotted line or say yes. A lot of times you'll get an artificial no. So this could be you just circumventing and finding the person that really can make the decision, because a lot of times they're like, yeah, why someone said no to this? So it can be a good technique from time to time. But it's also just saying if you want to do something on your own, you already have the power, capacity, and wherewithal, okay? And I do like that it's connecting to High Priestess energy. We have High Priest. It's elevating and combining all of the previous stuff. So High Priest, Magician, Empress, Emperor, and now we can put it all together in a way that is really, really powerful. That's the procession that follows, or precedes this, rather. Okay, let's take a look at the weekend. Looking at this upcoming Saturday, it's a great day to have conversations. We have the Page of Wands, or Princess of Wands here, taking this idea that we talked about and possibly handing it off. So I like to see the ace as sometimes like a relay race where the universe might be handing you the ace. The princess is handing it off. She said, I've spent a week sitting, marinating, working on this. Now I'm ready for you to take it to the next level. So this is the wrong season for this Olympics, but it's like when you watch, well, I think they have some relay races in speed skating and stuff like that, but more like in the Summer Olympics when you see track and field and people will run a sprint, hand the baton to someone else, run another sprint. So you might be at that point in your life where you've done all you can and you're handing it off. This is also a great day to get people excited around you about something. So it's a motivational card, it's an inspirational card, developmental card, and a communication card. You can take anything and level it up. And also just have some fun. Whenever we have fire in the mix, it's saying follow your passion. And if you're a writer or an artist, it's a great day to put energy into that project. Okay? Looking at the energy of this upcoming Sunday, a week from today, we have the 10 of Wands in reverse. You're very close to the finish line, but that final portion can sometimes feel burdensome, right? It's like, how do I make it? How do I do this? Sometimes it's by letting go a little bit. Letting go of the pressure that we put on ourselves, because this can be an overachieving card. Too much I in the mix. I have to do this. I have to do it. It's because, and it's sort of like, do you have to do it? Or can you share the load a little bit? Does everything have to be you touching it, you controlling it? Or can you, the previous day was kind of like the advice, hand one of those wands off and just focus. Travel, great day for travel, but try not to overload your itinerary. For those of you that have been on, I like to say there's a difference between like a vacation and a trip. A trip is like a business trip, or someone who wants to take a trip and see a bunch of like items on the itinerary. We're going to go here, then we're going to see this, and then we're going to hop on a bus and then on a train. And then you're like, you need a vacation from that. A true vacation or holiday is when you just allow things to develop. You might have a couple of constellation points, but the distance between the two, it depends on what you feel like. You could just have a meandering afternoon, or you could decide, you know what, yeah, I'm going to sign up for this and do this, but it's because I want to do it. So allow it to be more like a holiday than a trip where the itinerary is like one after the other. Take your schedule and make it a little bit lighter. You're going to have a great day no matter what. The 10 of Wands is good. Don't let somebody push you into doing something, by the way. When the card is reversed, it can be pushy, and there can be someone that abuses their relationship with you to get a favor. And in this situation, if you don't want to do it, just push back and say, I've got a lot on my plate. Thanks, but no thanks. Okay? So there you go. We're going to now take a quick look at highlights and challenges, and then we'll go into the 7-day. Into the elements. Highlights and lowlights. This is a pretty good week overall. I actually feel like today and next Saturday are really, really great. The Ace of Wands and the Page of Wands allowing you to level up, take things to a new sort of trajectory, super exciting. I think that you find your voice and your power by the end of the week as well. So it looks like Friday is also a very good day. Some challenges this week, Tuesday and Thursday. They're really the only challenging cards. Everything else is manageable. Tuesday, hold someone to their word. Hold yourself to your own word too. And Thursday, things may not be exactly the way you wanted, but they might be better than anticipated. So keep an open heart, keep an open mind. Okay, like I said, the next portion is going to be elemental. We're going to look at fire, earth, air, and water. And I'm selecting a deck as we speak. Maybe this one. Okay. Let's move these to the side so I have some space. Okay. Tuning in to the elements. Fire, earth, air, water. We'll start off with Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, the fire signs. So, teamwork makes the dream work. We have the Two of Cups, but it is reversed. For some of you, there could be a little bit of protection of the heart going on where it's like, I don't want to put myself out there because I'm afraid someone may judge me harshly or may not get me. But if you don't allow yourself to be seen, and this is also true in love too. So whether it's love, business, or just ideas, if you don't let someone see who you truly are, you'll never know if they're going to unconditionally love and accept you. So you have to sometimes take a leap of faith. You may be asked to step outside of your comfort zone when it comes to social activities. Some of you just may be a little bit more of a natural hermit. This card is saying getting out of your sort of shell and mixing and mingling will be rewarded. The other thing here, though, is that if someone comes forth and there isn't a spark, let's say it is love or friendship, you don't have to invest in that energy. In fact, you're going to save yourself and the other person time simply by saying, I don't feel the spark. Okay? So if there's no spark, don't fake it. If someone comes through and it's one-sided, ask them to come back when they're ready to give what you're willing to give. So discernment is definitely a piece of this, but so is shyness. So encouragement to get out of your shell, encouragement to have good boundaries and also not accept less than you want and or your worth. But if you can navigate those two things, you could find friendship, partnership, and some fun. This is also a great time to talk to someone about anything important, whether you're pitching an idea, talking about what you want, what you're afraid of, what you desire. Two of Cups is very good, but there's a caveat. It's a face-to-face endeavor. This isn't something that you want to do over text. So if there's an important conversation to be had this week, it will be improved incontrovertibly by having a face-to-face, or at very least like a FaceTime. But nothing beats real-time face-to-face if possible, because you can read body language. You can reach out and connect with the person physically, literally, and it's going to be improved because of that. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at moving on from fire to earth. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have Queen of Swords energy coming through. This is a great week to communicate. Oh, by the way, thank you. We just made the goal, and I forgot that I didn't set it for, usually I do like the entirety of this reading. So thank you to everybody for getting it before we ran out of time. That was my mistake. Anyway, back to Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn earth signs. It's time to speak and stand up. I love the eye in the background. So you're sharing your perspective with others, right? And saying, this is what I stand for. This is what I want. It's so weird because this morning I was thinking of my first really big job when I came to the West Coast. I had maybe 3 or 4 smaller ones before that, but it was significant. It was my favorite. Not all of my corporate experience was bad. I had one job that I truly loved. And my only regret in that one was there was a reorganization towards the end, and I didn't speak up and say what I wanted soon enough. And I also they were trying to put me in a cookie cutter position, and I'm like, but I can also do this, and I can do this. And they're like, yeah, we just want this. So I wasn't astute and experienced enough to realize I needed to play the game, but they also didn't have the imagination. Anyway, I wish I'd just spoken up a little bit more and say, I want this, and I think we can blend in this. I should have just been stronger, but I was young. If there's something that because the window passed, someone else grabbed it. So this is a week where you want to go for it and say, whether it's love, a job, an idea, whatever it is that you're really passionate about, say, this is what I stand for. I'm really passionate about this. I'm the one. We'll make this work. Because she can negotiate. Queen of Swords is a formidable communicator. And even though we're looking at Earth and this is air, it's saying you can actually use the best of these two energies. So Earth, you can ground it in examples, resources, something that really makes sense and is tangible, earthly sort of concepts. And then you can bring it forth in the way that best works with your own communication. So I feel like you can get something that you want this week, provided that you go for it. There could also be a Queen of Swords energy coming into your life. So maybe there's a Libra, an Aquarius, and a Gemini that's coming forth and connecting with you. And I see great partnership. This is more of a friendship or an alliance because I'm looking at that eye there. And they're like, oh, I see yeah, let's do this. So you could partner up with someone this week. Lean on your communication. Speak in an affirmative and positive way. Don't hold back. And seize the day. That's one thing that I would go tell that 20-something version of myself is, you've got this. You've got nothing to lose. Everything's going to change in 2 or 3 months anyway. You won't regret trying. So take a note from my own history and go for it if you can. It's a great week to put things into writing, to get a signature on the dotted line. And Queen of Swords is brief. She isn't long-winded. She'll get in, she'll get out. Whether she's upright or reversed, I like that about her. She can be a little bit curt or a little bit too short sometimes, but typically she's not going to eat her own words. She says what she means, and she means what she says. An interesting thing here that I'm looking at is the crown. So on the crown, you'll see all of these hands. This is interesting because there are people that might be trying to get, it's like they're picking your brain. That's what's coming through. Protect your ideas and your intellectual property for what it's worth. But otherwise, this is a really good week, and a lot can be accomplished. Use your voice. It's perfect because it's your voice. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be authentic. Okay? Moving on to air. We just were talking about them a little bit. So Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, we have the Page of Cups in reverse. Fascinating that this week there's so many energies around the head. So in this one, it almost feels like there could be someone emotionally pulling at you. If you loved me, you would do this. If you really cared, you would show it by doing this. And it's conditional energy. It doesn't just happen in love and in families. It happens at work too, guilt trips. If you were really serious about your job, you would show it by doing this. Those are red, at the very least, yellow flags, where it's like, you don't need to go there for me to be motivated. This doesn't motivate me. This is demotivating. Whatever the word is for that, it kind of takes me out of it. You may need a little bit of a break this week. Page of Cups in reverse can be exhaustion. The world is exhausting. Politics are exhausting. Family can be exhausting. Whatever in your life is constituting that level of fatigue, acknowledge, don't sweep it under the rug, and then be grateful that you're aware of it, and then take a break, take a step, take a beat, and say, today, I'm going to hold space. Never say I'm going to do nothing or I'm going to do less. I'm going to create space. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to recharge, because that's what a break is. There's a difference between being still and doing nothing. Meditating is being still. Taking a break and taking a nap, it's being still. Avoiding something, that's procrastination. But if you just need it for mental health this week, be still. It shouldn't be conflated with nothingness, okay? Because in the stillness, we can clear our head and we can get that octopus or squid off the head. So I'm paying special attention to all the crowns or the heads on these people. So yes, there's tentacles around your head. By the way, meditate, and you can also smudge yourself with incense, with sage. There's multiple, with sound, by the way, a sound bath can work. But in addition to an actual bath, clear the energy around you. Meditation is step one, but smudging, using crystals can also work. So crystals, sage, sound, incense, or the choice, sort of like smudging element that you would like to use. Because there's something that's kind of circulating in your energy or auric field. And also, if someone is in your head, just say goodbye. I've talked about this multiple times, but a therapist and a light worker just said, you're fixated on that person. Because I said, why is this person in my head? And they said, exactly, why are they in your head? Change the channel. And what she had me do was because we were doing like a phone session. She said, walk outside if you're not out there already. Grab the nearest stone that you feel connected to. Just hold on to that and breathe. Get a little bit of earth in your hands and say, I'm fine. This is my head. I'm the only one that gets to hold space and hold court here. And it helped. She said, put that energy into the rock and then put it back on the ground and walk away. Whatever's in here, transfer it to the rock, put it in the ground, and it's grounded now. You don't need to go buy a $500 crystal. You can go outside and grab a pebble and work with it. Earth is earth. Different crystals have different energies, but you can go hold on to a tree, put your hands on the ground. I love that people are using the phrase like touch grass or something, whatever it is. Get out there and actually touch the planet for a second and just ground the energy, whatever's in your head. All of my air signs. Take your socks off and put your bare feet somewhere on the ground. I know it doesn't work if it's negative 30 outside, but you got what I'm saying. Find an element of earth, ground it, and then put it back into the earth, and then you're done. Okay? A little bit of practical magic that will help you there. And open up your heart this week and let it out. If you need to talk to someone, talk to someone. Once you do that, this is creativity and intuition that wants to flow through. Once you clear your head and clear your heart, then you can just be productive. And it can be a very productive week for you. But I needed to help the air signs a little bit with the clearing. I hope that helps. But yeah, you can spend literally $0. And you don't have to talk to anyone. You can just go out to the planet and the planet will help you. Symbiotic energy. Make sure that you say thanks to Mother Earth afterwards. You can even start with that. Say, in advance, I just want to say thanks. I need to release some energy. Use this for whatever you need to. The planet has a consciousness and it has a heart. So thank the planet, thank the rock, thank the tree. Whatever you're working with to channel the energy, thanks is a very important thing. Gratitude. Okay, water. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Keeping the pace, it's going to be a fast-paced week. This is a good card, Knight of Swords. Things will move quicker and sometimes even in a direction that you may not have anticipated. What's important is to be aware. So I mentioned I'm looking at the faces when there's something interesting going on, and there is here. This person's head is in the clouds. Usually this card is racing forward, charging forward. So in order to maximize your momentum and your progress this week, some of what I just talked about, so rewind and listen to the air signs if you were multitasking, looking at your phone, whatever. Clear your brain. Talk to someone, meditate, use the techniques of grounding that I just talked about. Also, ask, especially if you're not clear on something, because I'm looking at this and it's serving up like Seven of Cups energy. When someone's head's in the clouds, they don't necessarily see everything that's going on. So you can say, I believe we're going to do this, this, and this. Did I miss anything? Did I hear you correctly? Did you understand what I said? Do those communication checks to make sure that you're okay. Otherwise, the good stuff, going to the traditional Knight of Cups, or Knight of Swords, rather. With the Knight of Swords, when you say or write something, like rapid fire progress can be made. Things can actually jump forward faster than you think. So fasten your seatbelts, make the most of this week. If you're feeling a little stressed out or like the schedule's intense, it won't be that way forever. We just see 1 week with rapid progress. Your power to communicate and get the message to someone is really intense. So by the way, if you're job seeking, it's a really good week to apply. I was listening to something on National Public Radio where they were talking about the application rate is less than 1%. It's depressing. But sometimes when you're applying to jobs, it's something like a 0.75% chance of it being seen by certain AIs because there's AI bias. So see if you can actually hop over that. If you know someone in the network, this is a time to reach out to someone. Look at LinkedIn and see how many steps they are away. If they know them, say, hey, could you reach out to this person and see if there's a job? Use the communication skills to get through it faster. Computers suck. I love computers, but AI sucks right now in its current state. It's a little sloppy. That's the best word, because it's a large language model. It's not truly AI. Pattern recognition isn't great. So we need ways to circumvent it. And remember that your power this week, especially on Friday, High Priest energy, is just owning it. So go for it. There's nothing to be lost by doing that. That great job that I talked about, I got it by clicking on the footer of a website, finding an email contact form and sending a note. And it got to an assistant that just checked out my portfolio and liked it. And she just printed out my portfolio and gave it to the boss. I didn't have to go through traditional. I mean, this was a long time ago. This was like 2002. But even now, there are ways that sometimes it could be a DM on social media. It could be a comment or something. You never know when one of those little tiny contact points could get you somewhere. A recent example, I think I saw something where like HBO hired one of the fan editors that did, for that new series, Heated Rivalry, they did like a fan edit, and that got them recognition, and then they got a job. So you never know how you can circumvent the system and end up getting into something big. So not in a weird, deceptive way, but like in an intuitive, like, why don't I try this? Because all these other methods may not work. So we're getting, if I could find one thing this week that's very common, it's like creativity and like thinking outside of the box. Sometimes the old ways don't serve us, right? Okay, let's go to the special topic. Special topic is seeing beyond the moment. I'm actually quite excited to see where this goes. Before I lean into that, a couple quick notes. Please, if you haven't already subscribed, do so. You need to be a subscriber to be able to comment on the channel. So please subscribe. It's free and it gives you that capability. Like the video, also free. When this is on replay, leave a comment then because it helps other people find it. You can show love and support through super stickers and memberships. I saw a ton of people helped us make the goal today. So, already I just want to say thanks for doing that. And I think that's everything. If you do want to give back in a different way, you can do it through PayPal. All of these links are on my website, including how to find me on social media. It's, by the way, my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all major platforms. Recently just joined Substack, so you can find me there as well. Here is my website. All right. Now that that's out of the way, special topic time. Okay. Let me figure out what I want to use as a deck. We have Apollo there grooming himself. So give me a second, and I'm going to choose a couple of decks of cards. All right, so we're going to let the decks decide here. All right. Almost this one, I might use that for the extra, but we're going to go with a nature-based one for today. I like this Wildwood Tarot. I haven't used this in a moment. So again, special topic, seeing beyond the moment. What is lifting you up? What is holding you back? What is beyond this moment in time? Yeah, this is one of my favorite decks, and I think I've purchased it back like when I first started. And then someone helped me repurchase it when I lost my cards when I moved. But yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful energy. Alrighty, let's begin with Catalyst energy first and foremost. We have the armadillo coming through, defense, boundaries, detachment. That detachment piece is oftentimes the hardest. So the law of detachment in manifestation, basically the too long didn't read version, TLDR version of it is, if you're too much in the energy of desiring, wanting, or clinging on to something, the universe is like, you're not ready. When you're kind of at the point where you've done all the work and you're like, I could take it or leave it, the universe is saying, oh, great, here you go. So it's kind of frustrating because oftentimes we accomplish things in our life that we wanted in our younger versions, but it's like later, and it's just because it won't go to our head so much. You can look at some examples of like childhood actors that got success too quickly and it kind of does a number on them versus someone who gets it later in life and they're very appreciative of it. So sometimes the universe is just trying to make sure that you won't be overwhelmed by a situation. So that's part of it. We've been talking quite a bit about the importance of boundaries. I feel like in the daily messages this week in particular, even if it wasn't solely in this particular reading, I know we had 6 of Pentacles, but I feel like today's, wasn't it like the 7 of Wands? So like 7 of Wands energy is all about working smarter, not harder. I didn't even mention that in the daily, but part of that just involves saying no when you need to and standing up for yourself. That's also an expansion of what I pulled for today on the daily reading. So pushing back and saying no, or that's not enough, or not now, or just simply, I don't want to. So defending your desires, your intellectual property, saying no to things, all of that stuff is important. And then also when we look at defense, it can be taking a look at like literally how you're protecting yourself, your insurance, your security system, things of that nature. The armadillo, very much like a turtle or a snail, has that protective hard shell. So it is important to create a thicker skin and not let people get so quickly under your skin and kind of take you out of your power, okay? As I'm looking at this spread, one thing that I love is we have 10 of Swords, but it's a lesson-based 10 of Swords. Most of the cards are pretty good. No devil, no tower, manageable energy. And this is just like a connecting point. It's not the outcome. So I think we have a decent week ahead of us. Okay, so again, seeing beyond the moment. The center card shows love, the Forest Lovers, aka the lovers in the Major Arcana. And it's saying in your life, because this card is reversed, is there a feeling of lack? Like, are you disconnected from someone or something that you love? If so, this is the moment to make a reconnection to that. Deciding, I love myself enough to go for this, this, or this. It also could be this feeling that Maybe there's something missing in your life, whether it is literally partnership or there could have been a falling out with somebody, and you're thinking to yourself, I need to repair or to release this, because that can be all consuming. So this reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Practical Magic, where Nicole Kidman is talking to her sort of younger version, like her niece, but it looks just like her. And she's talking about falling in love, like, I can't wait to fall in love. And then she has a little conversation with her. This is paraphrased, but she said, have you ever had that feeling of like spinning and spinning and spinning until you get dizzy and a little bit sick? And she said, that can be falling in love sometimes. So falling too much in any energetic emotion can give you that. Stress can do it. Anxiety can do it. Love can do it. So all that stuff that I was talking to the air signs about, grounding yourself, I really feel like it benefits all of us. That's why we show up for a collective. We can learn from each other. So the emotions right here, right now, of passion could be tethering us. It's interesting that they chose to use all of these sort of like ties that are keeping them tied together. Sometimes that can tether us in place. So ground yourself, get your head in the right space, your head out of the clouds, and ask yourself, will I still feel the same tomorrow as I do today? And if I still feel the same the day after that, then maybe it's time to take action on this. But if it's just a momentary like flush of emotion, don't let it take away your focus, okay? It may be a little intense right now if you're looking to get into a relationship. So if it's not here, that could be to your benefit. If there is if there is a person in your life or a relationship that you're focusing on, make sure that you have space for yourself to exercise, to meditate, to sleep, to gather your thoughts, because otherwise it gets tangled up with the other person, okay? Crossing this card, we have the Sly Fox, with a really cute expression, coming through as the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands here is also being introspective. I look at that and I think of what I do sometimes when I'm talking here, which is I go into my mind and I see it a little bit clearer. Because when I look at you or I look at this or I think about what's going on around me, it takes me out sometimes of the meditation. So really focusing on getting clear. This is what I see. This is what I feel. What is it going to take to get there? I was talking with a friend this morning who saw themselves in a new situation. Like they could literally see and feel, and it was palpable. And I'm like, yeah, that's a form of manifestation. It's going to happen. When they said that, I knew that that goal was going to happen, because as clear as day, they could see themselves in that space. So what you could do right now is to really focus on the future self, not so much the current self that might be feeling the intensity of emotions that we just talked about. Future self, imagine how good it will be when, and then fill in the blank. When I am healthier, when I am wealthier, when I am happier, when I've accomplished this, when I've created that community around me that I'm looking for. Feel the celebratory energy that flows through you, that euphoric sense of, wow, I did it. And then pull that into the present and say, I want that. I'm ready for that. Okay, we're doing this. We're doing it because I see it's already done in one of the timelines. Now show me, Spirit, the best path to that, because I know it's possible. So that's one form of manifesting, is putting yourself out there for a second, smelling it, drinking it, feeling it, connecting with it, and then now you have an energetic cord that will bring you to that, okay? So this is what the Knight of Wands is doing, closing his or her eyes, focusing on the future, and making the future come to you, because you know it's possible. This is a great week to sort of like flex your creative muscle and move towards things that inspire you. So people, activities, and environments that light you up, okay? If you want to learn, the fox, of course, is connected to wisdom as well. All right, in the deep past, we have something that may be overdue for some of you, but either way, 8 of Cups. Take a break, get some perspective. It's a very unique word that they chose to highlight here with rebirth, but I get it, because the 8 of Cups for me is cyclical, making and breaking cycles. It's second chances. So like the Carly Simon song, Coming Around Again. Think of it like the Wheel of Fortune. If you miss it one time, it's going to spin around again. The important thing is to have the perspective to latch onto it when it comes around again. And it's also like just a chance to clear your head. So in the traditional card, we see someone taking a hike and walking out of scene. You see the 8 cups with room for the 9th, which is wish fulfillment. So if you haven't given yourself a moment to take a break, take a break. And the rebirth is saying, I want to kind of use the word more like return, but it's like getting back to that childlike version of yourself that could imagine what's possible. Some of you might have deviated from a path because you lacked support, you lacked confidence, or you lacked vision, but you don't now. Now you actually have that. And it's almost like it's rebirth, but it's reconnecting as well. In order to get this, you have to take a step back. So have you given yourself the necessary break, space, or just, what's the other word that I want to use here? Just sort of like the credit to imagine that something could be possible. If not, please do it. All right, in the recent past, we have the Queen of Swords. She is reversed. I mentioned I like the Queen of Swords. The Swan is great because it has this beautiful, graceful energy to it. But sometimes when the card is reversed, timing, tone, or just moment is wrong. So if there's something that needs to be said or done this week, please feel free to do it, but check in before progressing. So you can even start with, is this a good time? I've been meaning to connect with you. See what they have to say. When you meet up with someone, whether it's friendly or it's going to be a tactical conversation, start with, how are you? What's going on? You said you were going to be working. How did that work out? Like, follow up on old trails, let them know that you're tuned in. And again, you're taking a pulse and seeing, is this the right time to have the conversation? Okay? And then get in and get out. Say what you need to say. It's like a Band-Aid, you rip it off. Once they're like, yeah, I have a moment, just say, great. I was wondering, are you interested in doing this? Just get it out. Or how are we coming on this? Whatever it is that you really need to say, don't use too many words after you've done the sort of like connecting process, because it'll be better to be direct, because they'll know where they stand and they'll know what you're trying to get across. So there you go. Take a temperature, then get to the point. Also, this can be an overly critical card. So when we're looking at self as seeing beyond the moment, she's incapable of seeing beyond the moment because she's only focusing on coulda, woulda, shoulda, and what isn't happening. But she's giving the present more, and I say the present like what just happened. It's really like recent past. She's giving the recent past too much power. And what she needs to instead ask is, what can I do differently to affect tomorrow? What else can I focus on? What strengths do I bring to this situation? They're curious, they're inquisitive, but they're not critical. They're constructive. What can I do better is a great way to take it. So if someone doesn't like what you have done, let's say it's a boss or a teacher, say, how can I improve? That's the grammatically correct way. Like, how can I improve upon that? Okay. What are the next steps? I'm sorry it didn't work out. I hear what I need to focus on. I'm going to work on it. Can I count on you if I have any questions? Sometimes people don't want this. If I could go back to my business version of myself, like 10, 15, well, no, it was a long time ago, 15 years ago, I would have asked that. I would have said, I can see you have a lot of passion. Do you want to help me with this? People will stop criticizing it. Great. I'm going to need your help on this. Can I count on you then? Because I want to make sure I get this right. If not, tell me who I can partner up with to make sure we knock this out of the park. Maybe I'd be fine in a corporate environment, but I wouldn't take it all on myself. And I would say then, by the way, can I offer you some constructive criticism? You could have told me this sooner so that we could have saved time. It's a two-way street. If we're both going to learn from this, fine, but I'm not going to take 100% of this so you can do that. Queen of Swords will do that. And it doesn't have to be in a condescending or kind of like, shooting darts sort of way. Just say, if we're being honest, then this is also frustrating for me. This is how it would have been easier for me to accomplish that. Is that something I can count on from your perspective? Open-hearted, but like they'll be like, oh, wow, this person This person's going to come back if they'll think twice before just dumping stuff on you, okay? You have a voice, use it, but make sure that the surly, sardonic, sarcastic sort of tone is removed and just say it, okay? In the crowning position, we have the Ace of Swords. The card is in the reverse position. Failure to launch. So yeah, like 3 words, failure to launch. Is what comes to mind because I'm looking at this arrow going up. The arrow is reversed. There was something that you tried and didn't work, and now you're worried that it will continue to not work. And this is saying each attempt is its own unique energy. So don't let one misstep hold you back. Again, sort of like the inner saboteur keeps coming to the coming to the party to play today and this week. And it's important to not let them have too much of a seat at the table. If you learn from something, it's not a failure. And very few people that are successful hit it out of the park with the first try. Sometimes it works that way, but usually not. So it's how you apply learnings to an experience that matter. So a couple steps forward, 1 step back, still progress. Just keep showing up, keep trying, keep aiming. Eventually, you're going to hit the target, okay? And eventually, that rocket is going to ignite. And that's what I see with this. It's a revisionary card when reversed, so you can always go back and say, I think I want to do this instead, or I think we need to change this up, okay? A lot of communication when it comes to ideas, voice, and boundaries this week, okay? Now, looking at the near future, exactly what I just said, but amplified. This is one of 2, maybe 3 Ten of Swords cards that doesn't make me feel stressed. So in this one, 10 of Arrows, 10 of Swords, instruction. Everything I just talked about when I said, can I count on you? Who can I work with? Like getting advice, getting some tangible feedback. So what can I learn from this? How can I do better? And can we work together on this? Because I see teamwork on this. I don't see a person on the ground with 10 swords in their back waiting for the next day. This is saying, I have to brush myself off and keep going. It's kind of like when you're watching, okay, for those of you watching football, if someone fumbles, you just have to do better the next time. Or if someone gets, not injured so much, but like falls down, you see mud all over their uniforms, right? They just keep trying. Figure skating, Olympics. It's like when someone tries to do a triple or a quad, axle, whatever the hell they're called. Sorry, pardon my French. You just sort of like, sometimes they fall, sometimes they fail. But if they finish their program and someone else's falls and they get equal, you never know how it's all going to equal out. So you have to keep trying because it still may be the best. It may be the best you can do or anyone else can do. So one fall, one fumble, doesn't matter. It's the recovery that matters. Focus on the recovery. Get that arrow out and aim again, okay? There could also be a Sagittarius in your life that's there to help out. But yeah, figure skating is painful to watch sometimes. I sometimes will wait until it's done to find out did they fall, and then I can just enjoy I can enjoy the performance, because otherwise you're watching them and you're like, please don't fall. But I always love the recoveries when they're willing to do it, and sometimes they still medal, sometimes they still win. You never know. If you give up, you're guaranteed that you're not going to make it. But if you keep trying, the recovery sometimes is enough. And then the crowd cheers, you get your energy back, and you can make it up and finish it. So it's a metaphor for life. Brush yourself off and think of the finish line. It's going to be okay. No one's going to remember that. Or they'll just remember how well you did after that, okay? We're going to get every version of this card today possible with different titles for it. So instead of High Priest, now we have the Ancestor. It's reversed. This actually, from an ancestral or familial perspective, I get it. So this Ancestor is holding a drum, and it's sort of like, I want you to follow my rhythm, march to the beat of my drum, and it's saying, no, I need to march to the beat of my own drum. So you may be in this moment in time doing something that mom, dad, sister, brother, grandparent, or just your peer group don't get. If you watch my videos, you know that I'm like, we want to care about them, but you also need to focus on why you came to the planet. Like energetically, if there's something that you very much feel an alignment to, go for it. And when it comes to mom and dad, a lot of times down the line, they're going to get it. And like when you're successful, when things work out, they'll be like, oh, I never had any doubt. Just focus on doing you. You do you, let them do that themselves, and keep some distance. When we were looking at this armadillo as the totem, as the catalyst, defend your point of view, hold firm boundaries, and detach yourself from people that constantly have to micromanage. Well, I would have done it this way. Well, when I was a kid, we did this. And okay, it's different now. It's literally a different world. Money doesn't buy us as much. Old jobs that once worked don't. Like the system has not just changed, it's completely been twisted and morphed, and like it's a different world. So you get to choose a path that works for you. What worked even 10 years ago, 5 years ago, isn't working now because technology, politics, and the world is changing. So you get to choose what works best for you, okay? I feel like I've drilled that into the ground, but family doesn't always know best, and that's one part of it. Now the other, we'll flip it around. If there's a helping hand that's being offered, you might want to take it, but are there strings attached? Probably. And some of the strings are what I just said, which is, if you're in my house, my rules. So just make sure that you create boundaries and expectations when it comes to things of that nature. Okay? All right. Now let's look at your environment. We have the Eight of Wands. It's really good. This is one of my favorite Eight of Wands because it's maybe only 2 or 3 that show the community. I think the Little Prince deck that I use also shows community. It's a bunch of animals. And I don't know, there's one other one that I own. But anyway, Eight of Wands. Usually you see these wands flying inanimately through the air connected to nobody. I like this because where do you think those wands are coming from? It's teamwork makes the dream work. I like the hearth fire here. And what it's saying is take some time to just connect. I was listening to someone on like TikTok talking about differences in, I don't know if this is categorically true, but in an office that she works at in Paris or whatever, she said it's really important for them to have their morning coffee, and like everybody properly takes certain breaks, whether it's coffee or lunch. And it was something that we don't necessarily or didn't do when I was working in offices 11 years ago in the States. It would be a badge of like honor if you worked through your lunch or something like that. And I think it's stupid now because you need that 30 to 45 to 1 hour break to kind of like just clear the head and come back and be able to reset and exercise and breathe. And it's like a health sort of thing. So take time to have coffee, a lunch break. And by the way, going all the way back to school, make sure like the kids are having fun. Back when I was at that terrible school when I was a little kid, they wouldn't allow me to go to recess because sometimes I would run in the hallways. So they would make me march in my galoshes for like half of my recess break, and I'd only get like 5 or 10 minutes when the other kids got half an hour. And I'm like, that actually was abusive because kids need to get rid of their energy, and that playtime is important. So create time for play and for friends and family and for fun, because this is going to help give you the fuel to make those rocket ships in the Eight of Wands take flight. If you starve yourself of community, it just becomes isolating. It's lonely. So yes, this is about a productive week, but what's going to help you stay productive? Coffee breaks, playtime, hanging out with friends after work, doing the stuff that has nothing to do with what the Eight of Wands is normally connected to, which is productivity. It's the rocket fuel, is what we see in this card. The hearth fire. Make time for it. Find environments that encourage that. So find a work environment, a school environment, a familial environment where it's okay to have fun and you're not being seen as being lazy. So play and fun, also not the same as doing nothing or being lazy. It's getting the heart, getting the energy in the right sort of like perspective. Okay, hopes, fears, and opportunities. Here we go again. Four of Cups rather. In this Four of Cups, she's missing the bigger opportunity because she's not connected to it. So it's reversed. On this one, they actually call out the energy of boredom. I would actually ascribe not so much boredom, but like frustration with the Four of Cups. So if you don't like where you're at because you're busy, bored, or just disconnected, then dream a little bit and ask yourself, what else would I do? In this one, you can see he's just perturbed. He's looking at this. He's missing this. I think this does a better job. But I appreciate that they brought up one other thing here, which could be boredom. Neither of them is showing a face of joy. Pretty close. So you have to find a way to work through whatever it is that's targeting your emotions right now, and explore a little bit. What I just talked about, that community energy, is really important, because in the hearth fire, you could meet a new love interest. You could meet a new friend. You could hear about a new job. You could get inspired about some new activity or group that you could connect with. People make it happen. This week is about building that hearth fire unexpectedly. That's one of the messages, to help you see beyond the moment. Because those people, by the way, can give you a different perspective. I'm just going to pull it up right. So she's feeling this, but they're like, oh my gosh, girl, you have no idea. And they can kind of get into a different perspective. Here's how, or I know somebody, talk to this person. So get some perspective this week through friends and family and colleagues and the hearth fire. The final card in this spread. Do we have, how many aces? We have 3 aces? 2 aces? 2 aces. Okay, we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. The waters of life. Take a moment to drink in the moment. Actually, yes, it can be that there's a lot going on and you need to just sort of breathe, and we talked about that, but I'm actually really looking at with the waters of life. What do you do with water? You drink it in. What's going on this? The elk is drinking, the swan is swimming, they're enjoying the moment. Sometimes we live for tomorrow or next week or retirement or whatever. We don't know what's going to happen between now and then. Not in a sort of like, woe is me, or the sky's crumbling, but like you just don't know what tomorrow holds. So why not enjoy today a little bit more? And even in a world that seems chaotic, and it is, by the way, chaotic, I'm not focusing solely on that today. I will from time to time help us through the chaos, but we have to focus on what isn't broken this week in order to keep our pace, keep our sanity, and stay productive. Because there's a lot that's kind of insane. So let's focus on things that are sane, solid, and that we can enjoy. Create some room for joy and drink it in. Drink in the progress that you've done. Don't let the other stuff overwhelm you. Don't ignore it. We have to. I'm one of the readers, I'll talk about it, like there's a lot going on. So whether you need to talk to a therapist, a friend, or somehow figure out your plan through it, please do. But in the throes of that, seeing beyond the moment, before I move on, here's how you can see beyond it. Know that there's no such thing as failure if you learn. And that sometimes it takes 2 or 3 attempts to do something before it is executed to your satisfaction. Learning can help. Like researching, the sly fox here can help us learn from history. How did someone else get through this before? This is the big key to success, which is community, fun, friendship, and activities. This will get you out of your shell. This will help you drink in the moment. This can help you rebound from a painful moment. You may also be torn between 2 paths in front of you. Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups. And you're going to have to tune in and decide what works for you. Okay? Good. We're going to expand this now to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. We have a verbose card. You know how I love verbose cards. Okay. The card was reversed. It says, facing my shadow removes darkness from the world. I agree. So this is actually very instructive for what we're all going through in the world right now. If there's something in particular that you feel triggered about, that's what you'll focus on. How can I heal this part of myself? Because when I'm stronger, when I'm clearer, this, that, and the other thing don't affect me as much. Strengthen yourself. This is almost like the strength card in reverse. Find the point which is creating the biggest energy leak and say, that's going to be my focal point. And that alone this week. I don't have to fix everything. I'm going to start with the biggest energy block, and then everything can kind of vibe from there. The moon card also is connected to this. Moon, devil, tower. It's like, I got to deal with that stuff. I got to clean it up, let the dust settle, and then see how I feel. All right, on a higher level with health, if you haven't taken a break, please do it. If you're feeling the isolation that we get here with the armadillo, finding activities, groups, and environments where there are more people can help. One thing that I do like about where I live right now, even though I might be moving, we'll see what happens. I'm trying to figure that all out. But you start to make friends with neighbors, right? And it takes about 1 year for that to happen. So give yourself time. If you just moved to a new place, if you just started a new job, it often takes about a year to make those core connections, but it can happen faster if you get involved sooner. But the community matters. Friends, neighbors, and activity partners. All of those are coming through together, okay? Chronic pain or fatigue, but something that it looks like you might be able to rebound from. So obviously, the sooner you take action on this, the better. It can also just be burnout. So vacation, break, etc. will help with this. Just a lot of emotions and a lot of energy around wanting to make it right. And again, as long as you're trying, as long as you're learning, know that you're doing the best that you can do. Overall, a decent spread. Okay, let's move on to wealth, which is your resources, your life purpose, and your career. And in the energy of wealth, we have mimicry. I think I mentioned this with respect to the Seven of Swords that came through, I believe, in the 7-day forecast. Yes, imitation is a form of flattery, but copying outright or mimicking to the point of infringement is not. So protect your ideas. When you write something, it's automatically copyrighted, but there are still actions that you can take. Like if you're an author and you self-publish, you still send a copy to, what is it called? I forget, Library of Congress. But in different places, there's ways that you can solidify that. And then, of course, you can go steps further and get like a patent or a trademark and make sure that things are protected. And then if someone is trying to take your ideas, say stop. Sometimes legal matters are necessary. So yes, imitation can be flattering, but don't copy. And don't fully attribute. If you're going to do something, license it and give proper attribution. Enough said. Okay, let's go into a few categories of wealth. We'll do it a little bit higher level since I'm going to be doing a secondary topic at the end. If you're currently employed, by and large, things look good. The Lovers and the Eight of Wands, community energy, you're interfacing and working well with others. Your ideas are very well received. You might have had one misstep, but the recovery is what matters. Challenges right now in current employment situations. Burnout and extremely bossy bosses. Someone that comes in and is kind of like micromanaging. Seize the moment. Carpe diem. Queen of Swords takes advantage of the situation in front of her without delaying too much, because if not, someone else is going to step into an opportunity. Speak up. Recover from anything that may be perceived as a setback, because people aren't going to remember that. They'll remember how you recovered. Overall, pretty good energy. Just be mindful of intellectual property, non-disclosure agreements. Don't work yourself to exhaustion. Moving onward to those that are entrepreneurs. It's time to pivot a little bit. So there might be something that you could have gotten away with in the past, but now it's going to burn you out in either energy or finances. So you have to pivot. And the way that you can pivot here is by getting some feedback from customers and employees. If you're just a one-person company, then you still probably have people that you're supplying goods and services to. Ask them what they want and need. Think about it, and then pivot a bit. There are two different projects or energies that you can put your time and energy into. And you may need to do a little bit of pruning in order to bring these to the next level. But it's important to work smarter and in a different fashion than you did before. Maybe outsourcing some things, maybe delegating a little bit more so you can step into a management position. Job seekers, can you find work? Yes, you're probably on the heels of one rejection. 10 of Swords is usually a no, something you wanted, but something better awaits. So I see that desire. I really wanted this. But as I look tactically over here, something different and possibly better than it looks can be here, because she could be missing a potential for growth here in this option. So how do you get it? Through the communal energy of the Eight of Wands, knowing someone. What are they looking for? Well, the one thing that I do see structurally with this is it probably is a little bit more regimented. Like there is a boss that has final say, but there is growth potential. There's creative energy here. You have to just ask yourself if it's enough for you. If it's not, then you may decide to go the path of doing your own thing. Students, if you made one misstep, got a bad grade on a test, or you're not doing well in one course, it won't be the end all be all. It is something that you have to deal with right here, right now, and it is frustrating and painful, but you are overall doing well. So this could be burnout, this could be a bad grade, or a class where you need to hire a tutor. And that's actually what I see here is tutoring and teamwork. So that can help you overcome this and get to a level that may not be exactly what you want, but it will be okay. I was just yesterday talking to one of my friends who is a teacher, and I mentioned in college I did well, like really well. Mostly A's, few B's. There was one class that I got a C in undergraduate, and it was college algebra, I think it was, or something. I don't know why. Because I took a Bachelor of Science, I had to take a math class. But it was like the hardest college, like it was truly collegiate math. And I didn't love math. I liked algebra, but for whatever reason, this college level was like, it was hard. So I got a C, and I fought for that C. I did extra credit. I worked with a tutor. I worked with the teacher, and that was the best I could do. And I feel good about it. And it didn't affect my GPA that much. I still got like a 3.89. Who cares if that brought it down a couple decimals? Nobody cares. I'm at a point in my life where nobody cares what my GPA was. But I share that because the C didn't tank my life. Did I like it? No. Do I wish it was a B or an A? Yes. But it was the best, and I earned that C, and I wear it with pride. So sometimes that's the best that you can get. Don't beat yourself up. We're not experts in everything. I'm good at writing. I'm great at writing. I'm great at intuitive and creative processes. I love actually science and technology. I'm not great at math. I'll let the mathematicians take that gauntlet. So find your strength and don't worry so much about this. But you might have to work a little bit, but you can climb your way through it and get through it, okay? That's what I see for students. Retirees, you need a break. I feel like some of you actually might be doing too much, whether it's too much volunteer work, there are too many people coming in wanting a piece of your time and energy. Step back, relax a little bit, engage in some things where you can drink in the moment. Maybe you're just doing something for the sake of doing it, but it feels like for you, it's actually pulling back a little bit or having better boundaries particularly when it comes to family, but it could also just be some of the extracurricular activities that you got involved with, okay? What can you focus on right now? For some of you, there's a deeper dive in spirituality, but it's not out of a textbook. So this is more like cosmically spiritual, which is what I would call myself, where you can find God in the forest, not so much necessarily in a chapel. So finding ways to connect with your higher self and spiritual self. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. Love and relationships, we have wisdom coming through. So interestingly enough, some of you could be stepping into a role that feels a little bit like father, mother, and we want to get out of that paternal, maternal energy, particularly if it's in a love relationship, because it's closed off a little bit. A beaver builds, but a beaver also has a lot of energy dammed up, built up. And so for some of you, you also need a place where you can release some tension, frustration, anger, etc. So it doesn't have to be in the relationship. That could be through therapy, sports, friends, a different channel for some of that. And again, maybe talking to an advisor or a counselor with the wisdom energy coming forth. All right, let's look at this in a couple of subcategories. If you're currently in a relationship, I absolutely love that we have the Lovers at the center. And the Lovers, the Four of Wands, the Two of Cups, I want to see something like that. So it's all coming from a good place. There might have just been an argument, though, and the argument comes from a differing way of thinking or communicating. Queen of Swords said something that hurt, or the Knight of Wands can sometimes be a little bit stubborn, and as such, an argument may ensue. The good news here, though, is it does feel like you can find your way back. What's important is to find common ground and to lean back into friends and lovers. Like, I wouldn't care so much if I didn't love you. We wouldn't be fighting if there wasn't love at the core of this. How can we get back to a place where we're helping, not hurting each other? And it may involve a third party. A friend or a counselor can help you through that. Or just Eight of Cups, some distance. Get some distance, clear your head, come back later, and talk from a place that's grounded. If everything's good in your life, this can be burnout, chronic pain, or fatigue. Take care of yourselves. Lean on one another as necessary. Also, one thing that could be pulling the two of you in different directions are opportunities. You're both being pulled towards something exciting, so try to find a way to navigate the distance between that. If you're single and looking, can you find someone? Yes. You might have already found somebody by the time you're watching this with the Lovers and this fire sign at the center. But there could also be noise, chaos, because right by the center, I have Queen of Swords and I have the Knight of Wands. Is the X out of the picture? Are you looking at two different people? Are you a little unclear on who you're trying to date? One thing that I see is that one of the either present or old relationships might be tumultuous, tempestuous. There's a lot of, like, when it's great, but then also there's fighting. So that's not necessarily the best. I think you still have the capacity to meet someone better than what I'm seeing here, and it's through group energy. So again, it could be peers, classmates, coworkers, friends, and family. And the best is yet to come is kind of what I see here. But take care of yourself, take care of your health more than anything, and that's going to help you out. If you're single and happy, it's a good, uncomplicated place to be. Right now, I think the most important thing is to focus on health and healing, particularly emotional well-being and mental well-being. Your challenge is where do you put your time and energy? I now get why we got like Six of Pentacles energy coming through for some of you, because there is almost like a wealth of options in front of you. So take your time and remember not to spin out too much in this. If something didn't work out, it's just one moment. So much more. Better chapters ahead. Building on teamwork, putting energy into creative endeavors, and spiritual growth, but again, in a different area that isn't like a traditional platform that's kind of coming through. All right. One last card, and then we'll get into the bonus portion for today. So in the energy of destiny, we have Lullaby. Beautiful card. So it feels like some of you, you're just waiting for something sweeter, something better. And this, to me, very much goes back to childhood, when a parent or teacher or someone would sing you a lullaby. As we get older, we have to find that sense of self-care for ourselves. What are you doing to take care of the inner child? To tell yourself in this world that is very tumultuous that things are going to be okay. Create spaces in your life where you feel that sense of the inner child being loved and that it's safe. Find your safe spaces. That's what I'm getting with that card. Okay? Also, when it comes to communication, the ability to speak something positive into existence is very, very powerful. Don't underestimate the power of that. Like even telling yourself, I'm going to get through this. Rather than positive, I want to say like affirmational. So when you speak in that kind of like encouraging way, you're also encouraging yourself to work through it. Before we go into this bonus topic, what's the biggest block that could be holding you back from seeing beyond the moment? I mean, this is good. The star is, for some of you, you feel like it's too far out of reach. And the star card is saying, no, you have all of that within you. The star is just reflecting your true self. Don't be afraid to reach for it. Take the leap of faith. Also, there could be someone else in your life that's accomplishing a lot. Celebrate that, because like energy attracts like energy. So if someone in your environment is doing well, that means they see something in you, and there's a quality in you that can accomplish some of the same things that they can accomplish. Okay, now we're going to go on to a bonus topic. And the bonus topic, the runner-up, was Untangle energetic cords and anchors. So just so we know what we're reading, that's what I'm going to be focusing on now. So we're going to take a look at this, because all of you were kind enough, as we had only 30 minutes to get all of it, to help me out. So let's just do a quick gut check. I just saw one of them, which is a fear of reaching too far, too high, because you think it's out of reach. Show me how you're progressing. Well, actually, before we do that, what is the current anchor? So show me someone or something in your life that's holding you down or holding you back. Oh, these are good cards. Okay. Why are you afraid? Okay. So we have the World card, which has come through this exact illustration before, and we have dominance here, and I get it. Because the world is not just you expanding, not just you growing, not just the next level. It's also what's going on in the world. And this card totally connects with what's going on in the world, which is one voice drowning other voices out. It won't forever. It won't be this way forever. And this bullying energy, which is part of dominance, won't work forever. Bullies get their day. There's a moment where they're going to have to answer for what happens. So this is hard. Some of us are blocked because this is taking your focus. She's peering through the sort of like keyhole, and she knows that there's another world waiting, another moment waiting, but this is getting in the way of this, which is rebirth. So how can we manage ourselves when the world around us seems chaotic, when bullies seem to be taking up a lot of the bandwidth right now? Good question, because it came through. So let's look at it. First thing I want to look at, I want to go to this person here. What should or could they be focusing on instead? We're going back almost to our main topic. It's okay. The anchor is this. Help me see beyond this. So first of all, what can you do to regulate the stress? Ace of Wands. Okay. So the Ace of Wands here, first of all, this ace has a phoenix with it, which I love. And she is, it's almost like I get the feeling like she's going and creating fire. She's kindling something. Your passion and your ideas are no one's business but your own. So if the dominance in your life is a parent or a boss or a friend who just comes in and says, that's silly or that's stupid, stop talking to them, first of all, and start believing in yourself. It's not stupid. They're afraid. They want to hold you down. The way to overcome dominance is not to let them get take away your fight, your passion, your belief in yourself. That's what they want. Whoever they are, whether they're friends, family, coworkers, people in positions of power, they want you to give up. The Ace of Wands is the antithesis to giving up. It's saying, you just lit my fire. You just got me more encouraged to move forward. And that's one thing that I've done in my life is when people say I can't, I'm like, watch me. So you can take this energy and say, watch me do exactly what you told me I couldn't do. Okay? So that's one thing. And you put the energy into what makes you passionate and happy. This person eventually will run out of people to bully or people to listen. So because they're there, what should or could you do to deal with the dominance energy that came through here? Okay, the Knight of Pentacles. Very interesting that it would come through with this, because sometimes what a person in this position would want to see, a boss, a family member, a position of power, is money. So when you're able to do something that is successful and well received, they can't usually fault you for that. And if you can get enough support, because Pentacles represents resources and support, then they can't counter that, can they? So yeah, do something, like success is the best revenge because it doesn't hurt anybody. And because it helps unshackle you from this. So work on yourself, be successful, and then use that success to leverage what you need and want and move beyond this. Okay? So that was one message that came through. It's a pretty big one. So that was an anchor. What is a mental block? There's different types of anchors and blocks that are coming through. And show me more about this. Okay, Five of Cups. So the mental story that's being told with this is, why couldn't I have seen this? Because I mentioned that this card is all about perspective. Well, actually, Four of Cups is perspective. Five of Cups oftentimes is mourning. But sometimes you miss that you don't have to do this on your own. And you're like, why didn't I see the warning signs? All that matters right now is that you currently see what's in front of you. And would've, could've, should've really don't have a place at this parade. So I would encourage you to focus on, in the future, trusting your instincts. I think that one of the blocks here is that you question your intuitive downloads. And then afterwards, you're like, ugh, it could have been so much better if I'd only listened. Okay, good. Now you know. So just listen to yourself. Also, trust your friends, family members, and others around you, the Two of Cups here in the background, that always want to come in and help. Now, one other thing. If you haven't given yourself time to grieve, do so. And it could be over anything. An opportunity lost. Someone in your life that passed away. Just a door that closed and that you're upset about. Give yourself time, because if you don't, then the warning here is it eventually catches up with you when you least expect it. I remember so very long ago when my dad passed away, because I think it was 2014. I can't even remember the exact year. It's been a long time. But I was still working. I didn't take enough time. And I remember just sitting at work or talking to someone, and I just remember feeling sad. And I didn't understand. It didn't have a place there because I was working. But I'm like, I don't know why. I'm just really sad right now. And it was grief finding its way into work because I didn't give myself enough time to grieve. And it'll find you at the weirdest times. There was no trigger. I think it was stress. If I were to look back, it was probably just stress. And I know when my mom passed away, it was another thing. They both helped me at different points, like just decide, I don't want this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Can't deal with that person. Because it just awakens the fact that your energy, your time is too important. So give yourself time to grieve something or someone that has been lost, and then focus instead on what matters. Because the passing often is a wake-up call. Don't experience the same thing that they did. Do this instead. The grieving will bring clarity to you. Okay. Show me a cord that you no longer need. Wow. Okay. I was like, are we really looking at all of this with finances? Okay. So one of the chords here, one of the areas that you're protecting yourself with, it could be over finances, money. And it could be because of a fear of loss or because people in your life didn't. So it could be lack, scarcity, or bad experiences. You can use this moment in time to say, I'm different. This is a new journey. I'm not that connected to that. This can also be materialistic because I was like, I want to make sure we're not just pulling the knight again for no reason. Or like pentacles, and I got double pentacles, and then I have a card moving away from it. So I think it's your moment, it's your time to decide what it is that you want to put your time and energy into. And the question is, who and what are you protecting? If I were to also look back at my own life, I think I would have just taken some different choices in work and school. I would have studied different and worked different because I was trying to fit expectations of what could make money, what my parents wanted, what my teachers thought I should do. Because honestly, I feel like the weird thing is, I almost wish kids had 1 year of just general studies so that they got a cornucopia, and maybe even a year after that where you could take up to 4 internships to work different paths, and then come back and say, oh, I feel so much clearer because I tried this, I tried that, I've dabbled a bit, now I know I want to focus. So if you have committed to something just because of money or just because of expectations, one of the chords that you can release is that feeling that I can only achieve success through this. The truth is, it's a cornucopia. You're a multi-hyphenate, like actor, songwriter, director. Like when you look at an IMDb credit, you're a multi-hyphenate. So just find the areas that feel good to you. And this also could be sibling energy. So we're just seeing a chance to kind of like release some of that connection to money, success, and the sibling energy that I'm picking up here, and just kind of be your own version of you. Okay? Let me look really quickly at the way this was worded too. Energetic chords. Okay, I want to see where your energy is going. If it's going into the right places. So, show me the primary space where your time and energy is going right now. How can you improve this? All right. So we have 7 of Cups, which is a daydreaming card. Typically, there's a bunch of cups. The person's looking. They don't know quite where to go. It's exploratory. When the card is reversed like it was just a moment ago, it can encourage you to say, I'm spending too much time worrying about all of the potential outcomes, going down a rabbit hole and sort of thinking this. And instead, I need to go to this. What do I feel excited about? What do I feel is going to really kick me off in the right direction? So pick the one thing in front of you that really ignites your passion, creates those fireworks, and go there. And then we have the commitment piece here. And it's a partnership card too. So teamwork makes the dream work again. But speaking of dream work, that is focusing on your dreams, which is where I get a lot of my energy and my inspiration from. I'm like, oh yeah, I could focus on this. Oh, this is a great insight. But I feel like you're worrying too much. So to give you the TLDR of that, it's worry and distraction. So you want to worry less, focus more, take one of the cups from the air and say, I'm going to do this. All right, so that's helpful. Is there a person energetically beyond what we've already looked at that we need to focus on? 10 of Wands is more people than person. And 10 of Wands, to me, would be like a a very authoritative or pushy person in your life. So it could be anybody that fits that role, parent, teacher, etc. What do you need to focus on with the pushy person? Resistance. So see yourself as an equal or a peer, not someone that is less than. You are greater than or equal to. At the very least, equal to. And just saying no, although it's hard to do, is really, really important. Okay? All right. Now just doing past, present, future in this sort of energy field. What do we need to be looking at right now? Wow. Okay. So we have Nine of Swords, stress, justice or injustice coming through because it's reversed, and then the world reversed. Okay. I really think this helps all of us in the new world order in which we are all starting to find ourselves. It's not so much about going back, it's about making something better. So, those of you that have gone through divorce know this. Those of you that have gone through a breakup or have had a big argument, you're not going to go back to what it was before. There's a new normalcy, new normal that you're going to create in your life, and you're going to rebuild and it's not rebuild what was before. You're going to build something different. So 2026 and 2027 are about dealing with this and leaning into this. The world as we knew it isn't. What are we going to do about this? And how are we going to deal with this? So right now, this is a good card to come through. There are people doing bad things, and the justice hasn't been served yet. And it's frustrating to watch as a sentient, empathic person. This is how many of us deal with it. It's these are all the emotions that we go through in any given day. Oh my God, what? Oh my, seriously? This? Okay, so let's get practical and tactical with this. Stress management. Let's pull another card. What can you do to help with stress? Take a break. Take a break or get some distance and get out into nature. Beautiful King of Cups. I love this deck, actually, the way they connect everything. And all of the stuff that I was telling the air signs about putting your hands on the ground, on a tree, on a rock, gardening, getting some dirt under your fingernails. All of that is part of this. Getting out and connecting and expressing. Even though we're not looking at the King of Pentacles, the King of Cups, connecting more with the energy of water. So get to the ocean, get to the lake, take a shower, do an Epsom salt bath, do something, but that is still one of the elements of the planet. Water can help. Creativity can help. Watching a great movie, reading a great book, having some fun. There still is and are things to celebrate, people to connect with. That's what you need to do. Back to the hearth fire. Find some stuff to love. And that will help you. Because the opposite of war, I would say, is like creation and love. So when we can get to the opposite of that hatred and war, it really is this love and creation energy. All right, injustice, imbalance, a lack of feeling like things are right. What do? Four of Pentacles. Okay, Four of Pentacles in reverse. Ask yourself, how invested am I in making this change happen? How much do I want to put into this? But there are limits to what you can do. Four of Pentacles is a limited card. So you have to work within the constraints of your time and energy. So normally I'm like, open up your heart. But with the Four of Pentacles, it's also saying, create boundaries around how much you're going to invest in a given day. So an example with social media is screen time. There are apps on our phones and devices that measure screen time. So I think the same is true right now with how much we decide to digest and ingest. This person's protecting themselves. And I think it's wise. I can do this much today, and that's it. I can read this much now, and that's all. I can devote this much of my time, energy, and money to fix it, and that's it. Because why? It's a communal thing. We all have to come forth and give a little bit. But if we all give a lot every single day, we will burn out. So we have to protect ourselves from the onslaught, and that is part of the way that it's working in the world, is there's so much that you can't digest it. So don't. You're not the drain pipe for all of this. Pick and choose what you can focus on, and then save a little bit for yourself. Because the other side of this is, you're asking me to do mental math, the Six of Pentacles. 6 and 4 make 10. So balance is what you get to keep. This is what you get to give. So don't give more than you need to or can. Unless, of course, it's something that if it's absolutely affecting you, then you give in, but you can only do it for a sprint. That's a sprint. And then you have to move back to the protective energy of the Four of Pentacles, right? Okay. The world. How do we embrace what's yet to come? How can we embrace the changes that are happening? And how can we make peace with the fact that the past is the past? Two of Pentacles. You win some, you lose some. It's another balancing act. We're not there yet, so it's already in the future, and that's why it's hard to sit there. But what you can imagine is, if I could change something, what could it be? And what do I really want to put my time and energy? It's resource management. It keeps coming through. So the Two of Pentacles is saying, make a choice. We can't have everything that we want. We can't put everything into that vision of the future. I have to just focus on this one little thing. I can invest this much time and energy into what I want to change, and I can have this one effect on the future. When you start to regulate your time, your energy, and your resources, you have more to give, you don't feel depleted, and then things start to get a little bit easier to manage, okay? But I do feel like I couldn't have chosen 3 better cards to sum the moment up right now. Stress, imbalance, injustice, or change, and the world. Also, by the way, so things that you can do with justice. Get involved. This is legal. This is larger than legal. It's just basically saying we're going to right a wrong. This is creating better balance in your life. This is saying no because it was reversed and standing up to injustice when you see it and when you hear it. You can't say that. You can't do that. Stop. So some of you will fight the fight. Protect yourselves while you're fighting the fight. That's the important thing. And that's why we have some protective energy with the Four of Pentacles and Two of Pentacles. Maintain your balance. Give only what you need to, because this is a long distance run that we're in right now. Kind of like what we did with the pandemic. You can't expend all the energy of worry. And we got through the pandemic. We will get through this moment in time on the planet. Okay? I hope that helps. And I guess we did need to talk about some of that today. All right, now one for the road, something different. Okay, so I said one for the road, but then we got the King of Cups again. I'm like, show me more. All right, so to kind of wrap this up here, King of Cups in reverse, showing that for many of us, we need a place to put the emotions. So find outlets in your life. Extracurricular, sports, art, literature, therapists. I don't care where. There needs to be a place where you can channel. 5 of Wands. Get strategic. And avoid unnecessary conflict. So elevate the communication. Next level would be 6 of Wands. She's only going to engage with the people that matter most. She's not going to get lost in the shuffle. 5 of Wands can be conflict, can be a lack of communication, can be a lack of collaboration, and so she's stepping up here. And then 3 of Cups in reverse. Again, greater community energy, and with the power of the group, the people, the hearth fire, which I had in that other spread, great things can be done. we're all more connected than we give ourselves credit for. These kind of hula hoops remind me of Venn diagrams. If we can start to focus on those Venn diagram connections, life would be a much better place. All right, we're going to briefly meditate. I know this went a little longer, but I feel like if you come here, you can watch what you need to. We will have timestamps this week. Dakota was off last week, so I'll make sure we get timestamps this week, and you can watch what you want to on replay. Okay, close your eyes for a moment. Let's just clear our heads, our hearts, and energy so that we can see things clearly. Take a nice deep breath, if you will. On the exhale, release any tension that might be in your shoulders or your neck. And imagine that you could, with one hand, pull in the energy of the sun or the moon, depending on when you're watching this. And then the other hand, you could sweep out whatever it is that you don't want. You're channeling light into your auric field, and you're sweeping out people, thoughts, fears, energies, pain, frustrations, self-defeating thoughts. And then just hold your hands at arm's length for a moment and imagine that you're creating a barrier of light. This barrier of light can work as a magnet for things that are of the highest frequency. You can put one in front, one behind, because we want to make sure all directions. You can even move them around. So imagine that you're creating this auric field of light around you, sweeping out what doesn't belong there, and welcoming in high-frequency friends, loved ones, opportunities, and thoughts, so that you can elevate your energy in this week ahead. As you start to raise your frequency, know that people that are trying to do things that are tricky, like the Seven of Swords, it's not going to work. You've raised the frequency. You've raised the bar. People that once got under your skin no longer can. Put your hands on your heart and feel this sense of power, empowerment, love, and trust. Know that you can trust your instincts and your emotions. Take another deep breath, plant your feet on the ground, and know that you are safe in this moment in time. Okay, let's go ahead and look at one final question, one final card. Gently open your eyes if you haven't already. Let's give the cards a shuffle and see what comes through. Okay, so if you ask me a yes or no, it's a no, and a not yet, more specifically. The Devil in reverse is basically showing that there's still either too much attachment to something or that there's a better opportunity awaiting you, because usually the Devil represents something that can't give you what you need, or that you're kind of ignoring an important piece of it. So I think you need to do a little bit more research, a little bit more soul searching. At the very least, the person, place, thing, or opportunity that you're looking at can't deliver. So the Devil's easy. No, not yet, probably not, just not. Full stop, because I don't engage even with Devil reversed energy. To me, I just think there's something better. Generally speaking, for your life, avoid diminishing and reductive thoughts, self-deprecating thoughts. When you do, like, even if you're making even a statement that reduces you. So I used to be a host at a restaurant. I worked all parts of the restaurant, but I remember helping seat people. And one thing I would avoid, and I also would correct if people said it, if it was a table of one, I would just say, oh, would you like this table over here? Would you like a table for one? Do you need two settings? But I would never say, is it just you? Oh, it's only you. Oh, would you like to sit at the bar? Because it reduced the power that one person had. Unless we were busy, I would say, we have no two tops available, but we do have a seat there if you'd like to. Otherwise, I'll find the first table that's available and I'll let you know. But when you're going somewhere, or if you pick up the phone and say, oh, it's just me. Oh, just one. Oh, I have an idea. It might be crazy. Don't say that. Don't reduce yourself. Never say that you're less than you are. So that can be an unusual devil energy that comes through in language that usually is impressed upon us by society. So just say instead, it's one, it's me, not just me, it's me. And when you have an idea to share, never sort of pre-pend it by saying something like, this may sound outlandish, or I know I'm not an expert, but, or maybe maybe you won't like this, but stop it. Put it out there. Same thing when you ask someone out. I'm very interested in you. Would you like a date? Like, just get to the point. Don't say, I don't know. Like, let's just put ourselves out there as someone who is valuable and worthy and avoid the self-deprecation. That's what I'm getting with the devil. If there is a person that you don't like, someone that you've had a bad experience with, or you step into a place and you think, I don't think so, listen to yourself. That's also you picking up on it, okay? All right, let's take a couple moments here for gratitude. Apollo's back too. We'll give him a pat in the head in a moment here. He knows we're wrapping up. So first of all, thank you everybody for showing up and making this an amazing reading today. I wouldn't be here without your love and support, and I appreciate you. If you'd like to show your own love and support, by the way, please like and subscribe. It is free. And we've kind of been plateauing for a bit, so I'd love us to be able to go up a notch, but I know, things are what they are, but I would love for us to get to the next level, so let's do it if we can. All right, I'm going to take a moment here to give a little bit of love and support to all the people that showed up today. All right, so to the following people, I'd like to say thanks. Seriously, Francis, thank you for becoming a brand new member. Welcome. Ann Walk, congratulations on 27 months of membership. Amazing. Thanks for spending your birthday. Happy birthday, Ann. Very good to have you here. PJ Good, thanks for the sticker and membership. Jamie McCormick, you guys always show up. These two for sure every week. Thank you for your stickers and memberships and for weekly showing up. I appreciate it. Annabella 369, thanks for being a member and for your sticker. Colette, thank you again for sticker membership, being a #1 contributor. PJ, thanks for being #2 contributor. Appreciate it. Marianne, I think it is Marianne. Yes, Marianne. Thank you so much for your sticker and membership, Taksumika. Appreciate it. And Walk again. Thank you. Mel 305 Miami. I almost said Miami. Thank you very much for your sticker. PJ, thanks again for sticker and contribution. Much appreciated. And for membership. Namaste to you as well. Return to Breath. Thank you for being a member and for your sticker. Rebecca, thank you. And thanks for wishing happy birthday to another person here. So nice. Glad you guys are enjoying and you're enjoying the community here, which is why I show up as well. Alice Singletary, sorry. Thank you for your sticker and for your membership. PJ, thanks again. Always good at helping us make the goal. JA33998, thank you so much for your sticker membership and for showing up from week to week, because I remember saying all those numbers. Falcone fan, thank you for your sticker. Colette, thank you again for multiple contributions today. PJ, right back at you for 2 in a row. And Walk, thank you again. Colette, thank you again. Stacy, thanks for the sticker and for the membership. Colette, thanks again. PJ, you rock. Colette, you rock too. Thanks, guys, for helping me make that way too quick 30-minute goal today and allowing us to do the extra reading. Colette, thank you again. PJ, thank you again. Colette, thank you again. I see a system and a pattern here with frequent contributors. Thank you. Return to Breath, thanks for the membership and for the sticker. And more return thanks to Colette and PJ. Georgia, thank you for your sticker and for membership. Colette, thank you again. PJ, thank you again. Colette, thank you again. Return to Breath, thank you again. Oh my God, you guys rock. All right, Corey, 7575, welcome. I see you're a brand new member and you gave a sticker. Much appreciated. Georgia, thank you so much for your sticker and for your membership. Christina, thanks for the sticker. I appreciate it. We have a anniversary here. Deborah D, thank you for 49 months of membership. That's amazing. Heather, thanks for sending and extending a membership to somebody new. K and X420, good to see you again. Thank you for also gifting a membership. Yolanda, thanks for the sticker. Let's see, Popcorn, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for your comment there. I'm glad that this resonated with you today. And thanks for also being a member. I see the little crown there hidden. Jeannie or Jean with a bunch of X's, thank you so much for the sticker and membership. Created by Deanne, thank you for your sticker and membership and being the 3rd highest contributor today. Casey and Bloom, thanks for gifting a membership. MPS Leisman, thank you for your sticker. Hey Rob, good to see you, buddy. Thank you so much for your sticker today as well. Miss Sparkle, thanks for the membership and the sticker. And also Rob, thanks for being a member. I think that's everybody for today. Let's give Apollo a pat on the head and we'll wrap it up. Hey, buddy. Been a good boy? Yeah. All right, I'm going to go take that cute little puppy on a walk. Thank you, everybody, for an amazing reading. Wishing you all the best in the week ahead. I'm finishing up all the monthlies, but you can always check my main channel page for progress on that. Plus, I do dailies every day, and I'm here every weekend, same time, same place. Till I see you again, have a fantastic week ahead. Much love and light. Bye-bye.